Hello, motherfuckers. Oh my god, that whole laugh was fucking hilarious. I didn't even mean to do that. You guys like my glasses? Today's a new phase. Today we're talking about the art of letting go. This is fun. Super fun. I hope you like the whole thing. I love doing it on my bed. I love doing these live streams on my bed. Well, this music is too loud. Hold up. Come on, don't fall off. Okay. Oh my god, my nose. I was drinking some water and it fucking went up my nose and I was like, oh no. Okay. So today, I wanted to talk about the art. Actually, I want to put these glasses on my head. Today we're going to be talking about the art of letting go. Because in my last live stream, there was such like very heavy energies. I would just like to make that a little more lighthearted. This is like a separate thing, like a separate head on here. And so, you know what? No, this looks fucking funny. I didn't even know how to start this video because I was literally just like, I'm being called to just come out here and discuss this art of letting go and pulling us into this now time space so that we're not getting stranded in the past or getting lost in the future, because the future is kind of like really blank. It's really like it's depending on who you are, depending on what phase you are in your life, your future is either dark or it's bright. And if you're really watching me right now, then there's a possibility, a very high possibility that future is bright. Very, very bright. Too bright to look at. That's exactly why we're focusing on the now time. Because you don't want to go blind walking across the future all the time, because I've experienced that before. I'm still healing from that. And so what we're going to do is I just wanted to talk a little bit more about like, how do I explain this? I mean, there's not a lot to say about letting go. But there is a lot to say about healing and how you can heal your past hurts and your past karma, or whatever cycles you went through that have either traumatized you, or whatever you've been through that traumatized you, that make you feel like you are stuck in the past. And so this goes not just from this life. People often get stuck within this life. They finish with their go all the way back to their childhood, and then they're like, well, now I'm just like, now I have no purpose, la 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 la. And that's because you need to go all the way back. I mean, some of us, like me, I had to go through my Akashic records. I mean, I got stuck in my Akashic records for so long, going all the way back to the point of blindness, and then like going back forward, and it was just really scary. But I dominated those fears, and instead of like dominated, I kind of brought awareness to those fears of the past, and really tried, I really healed those traumas, really unblocked any blockages that I had. And whenever you do spiritual practice, I would really approach it with a more open mind, with a more like grounded figure. So that's why we do grounding techniques and a lot of grounding things, because that's why we have earth, and that's why we're in the now time space. It's because when you go outside to step on the dirt, it's kind of reassurance. You're standing on ground. You have the sky above you. You have trees and light and love around you. You have things that you can physically touch. It's the ground. It beats the heartbeat of Gaia. You can feel it within your bones. And it really reassures you of the actuality of the present time, that you are here right now. You are watching this right now. You can see right now. You can move right now. You can do whatever you want at this current moment. And that is very grounding to us human beings, which is why when we go back to the past to heal all those traumas so that we are able to move forward with fluid movement and grace the way God intended it, we can now focus on what we want to do and how that correlates and aligns with our purpose, self, and higher values, higher views, and higher self, and God, as well as the universe. So, yeah, that's literally just me bringing people back, I said bringing people back, bringing people to the now time space, bringing people here right now. We need to focus on where we are and how we visualize ourselves within this present moment. A lot of the times right now, we are disassociating, and that causes fragments of reality to be able to be broken up within our mind space, which causes us to get like really lost within it. Especially with kids nowadays, they're starting to shift, which is super impressive that they've even found that kind of power within them. They're just taking it super lightly, like, oh yeah, I have the power of shifting. You have no idea how it's groundbreaking within. I am so proud of our children. I'm so proud of the younger generations who have just completely dismissed the thought of evil and dismissed the thought of negative value and everything. And we really have started focusing more on the positive aspects of life, focusing more on the positive sides of our mind, focusing more on what we want to do. Of course, we're going to have people who are shifting to like realities that are beyond their understanding. You need to understand intentions and what kind of intentions and purpose that you set upon yourself, what kind of intentions and purpose you set for the future of your life, for the future of your children. Remembering that your children are also not a part of your life, they're more so a part of their own life. So creating groundwork like our ancestors did for us, which is why we give such gratitude for our ancestors regardless of like how they might have done it, because well, the judgment that has been called upon our ancestors or the angels or us or anything, it really doesn't rely on us. It kind of relies on the universal karma that has been there because of God, you know, like if to be able to go really deep into it is kind of not in this conversation right now. We're talking about letting go of past belief systems, letting go of what we think is real, and letting go of previous thought patterns and the way that we see reality to be in order to picture it accurately within the future in a way that is going to help not only us, but the future generations and the future children that live within on Earth. So yeah, I really like this. Okay, so I'll do a little reading, and so thank you, Spirit Guides. Thank you, Ancient Ancestors. Thank you, Angels. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being here today, for guiding us. 12:22 on the clock, 222, and 1 for initiation. And it's just the 28th of July, so this is really cool. Ooh, okay, geez. Well, we have the Magician upside down. So, funny enough, we're talking about the art of letting go. So, yes. So, we're going to be, I guess, discussing the topic of magic and where it exists and how it exists. Magic has been misconstrued within our life to have so many different variants of it, which is kind of impressive for the human nature, really, as a druid or former druids or former representatives of those druids. I mean, there are a lot of burdens that are being carried upon by our ancestors, but we have to remember that at this current moment we are a completely different generation of human beings compared to what we used to be in the past with our ancestors and or past lives, with certain people that have been reincarnating within the cycle for a very, very long time. And so Right now, we need to understand that the balance or magic that we have within ourselves really does rely on how much we do have inner wisdom and inner knowledge of ourselves, of God, of the universe. And that really takes effort and devotion to understanding what wisdom even means, how it represents within our mind space, where it represents within our everything, like everything that wisdom entails, and the truth about worship. So if you haven't seen the truth about the Cabal in my old live stream, then I think you should really check it out. I'm a little kind of, off on rocker there, but it's okay. Just don't judge it too much. Like I said, judgment is not up to us. It's not even either up to me. It is really up to the universe to decide. And right now, we need to really take our time to understand what our inner values are and how they are represented within our life and why they are represented the way they are represented, because um, the foundations that we create for ourselves aren't necessarily for us, but for the future generations that already exist. The foundation that has been created for us is already here, which is why we're in the now time spaces, because we're utilizing what we have at this current moment in order to lay groundwork for the future and be able to educate ourselves and educate our minds and our spaces in order to create a better pattern. And it's not like we're creating a better pattern, we're just evolving, just like the rest of the world is evolving, just like the universe, even God is evolving. We're constantly evolving, constantly becoming, constantly forming, constantly um, taking ourselves into a new level, because at the same time, we are in harmony and co-creators of the universe. As such, we also honor our ancestors, honor the God, honor everything around us, because it is a part of us. It is part of what we have inside and around, and it is the balance that we have. And so really treasuring what we have, and understanding that it isn't just like for example, the dragons, like the red dragon, it was my one of my guides. Um, it's not necessarily about the greed of it. It is that the understanding and respect of what the value of that product is. You know, it's not just about, well, this is expensive or this is rich or this is that and that. It's about understanding the innate possibilities that are present within our space. And when you move and shift your space as you're elevating yourself, as you're elevating your mind space, as you're elevating and increasing your vibrational frequencies, we are also vibrating at that frequency of Earth. We have to remember that some frequencies remain exactly the way they remain because they have an innate purpose. For example, the frequency of love is eternal. The frequency of conceptualizing ideas and whatnot is eternal, right? So we have certain eternal things that exist. And this is just not just proven, but it is paternic in a way, and it does evolve in within its own nature, which is why we evolve as well, because we're not just evolving the nature of ourselves, we're also kind of the middle section of where we are standing at this current moment. So while we evolve our nature, the world evolves around us. So if we are constantly being put under low vibrational frequencies where we do not belong, we end up causing what you call it, harm towards ourselves, and we start lowering the vibration of the universe in general. Not that it will lower, it just is the kind of intention that is being placed, and we don't need that, which is why I strongly recommend people researching what intentions are, what they mean, and how they affect you personally, because trust me, I don't think anybody wants low vibrational frequencies in their life. I think most people want to live within a high vibrational frequency. There are some people that think they're thriving within low vibrational frequencies, but in fact they are high vibrational creatures that are able to sustain themselves even when or even in low vibrational frequencies, which is kind of what they're meant to be doing regardless. It doesn't mean that they're not harming themselves. Maybe that they're supposed to be there on divine purpose. They're, like I said, different poisons for different people. I've said this before, and we're all inherently the same, but we don't all always have to be the same all the time. We can be different at different points. Everything is within divine timing. True control, which is not existent, because control, after all, is just a word. So control in itself is for accounting created on books. So if you ever research the word control, then you'll know that it was first created in order to count. And so we are not the ones counting this. We are not the ones that are in control here. And there is higher powers, there are higher beings, there are lower beings, there are lower things, and we are smack down in the middle. And this is because we live within Midgard, and as we increase our frequency, so does Midgard increases their frequency. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Yep. So let's see. And I'm an intuitive speaker, I'm a psychic speaker, I'm a clairvoyant speaker, so I speak purely on the vibes, conscious vibes. I vibe to my own frequency, but I also inherit the frequencies of my surroundings because I am an empath, so I just don't have a choice on that one. Oh boy, I did try my hardest not to be the darkest empath possible. That's just because of the amount of manipulation that was put upon me. So I was able to restrict any type of manipulation to be put upon me, which is due to the protection that I have from my angels, which I am so very happy about. My guardian angels are so sweet. They're so kind. Yes, so there is enlightenment right now. Our battles are being shifted from this space into a better mind space. So although people might feel like they're overthinking or going crazy or something like that, I would really recommend taking a step back in your own mind and reflect on where you are in your ego in order to let go of that thought pattern. So because today's discussion is letting go, we are letting go of these battles that we have around us, and they actually, because mind over matter, as above so below, that is the structure of the universe as well. So we end up, these battles that we have that are usually like this are now turning over, but as they're turning over, we are really feeling the chemicals and the balances become kind of almost imbalanced within our minds, which is why I oftentimes meditate, and I always make sure to clear my mind as often as possible, just to make sure that I'm not cluttered even within my mind. It might make my space look a little cluttered. I might look a little disorganized outside, which does make me feel some kind of way, you know what I mean? But it's all right, because there is a time and a place for everything. The enlightenment that we're now receiving is here to guide us, to be able to shine light on whatever insecurities that we have for ourselves. Like I just mentioned, how messy my room is. It's because I am incredibly insecure about these things, but it is only because I need to be able to put action into these things and put effort into acknowledging the fact that I really do want to be able to clear this space. I really do want to be able to push forward. But as I am enlightening myself, as I am evolving myself, as God is evolving me as well, it is because I am putting my mind and my body and my soul, and I'm exuding the energy by cleansing and by doing behaviors and by acting upon my patterns in order for me to then recreate, or not recreate, but to be able to reflect what is happening within my within the upper spaces of my self, in order to instead of bringing it down, but in order to increase the vibrational frequencies of my surroundings, so that I can Exactly, so that I don't have to be the one standing my ground all the time, because there's certain battles that we are unable to fight as human beings. Spiritual battles, for example, it is not meant for us to be fighting as human beings most of the time. Yes, we can defend ourselves. We can take steps to be able to make sure that our areas are clean. For example, we eat in order to make sure that we are well fed and hydrated. We drink water to make sure that our body is hydrated. Water is not just going to start flowing into us, but maybe it is also something that we can put research upon, so that we can realize how our higher guides and how our higher powers may be able to also guide us further in this journey. Because there's lots of mystic information, for example, that Jesus and many other masters of magic and shamanism had talked about in order for us to progress. For example, we did have a civilization long, long ago, part of the vegans, the first vegan civilization that had came upon here, before even we had the Lemurian civilization and the Nectarine civilization, and they barely ate anything actually, because they recognized that the food in their surroundings was alive, and so they did not want to eat live food, and so they used to eat things like sunlight, and used to have photosynthesis, and they wouldn't eat at all. Maybe that is not how our organism is structured, but because we are moving towards the light now as a civilization, as the golden age is now progressing, we can be able to use the information that we had in the past in order for us to elevate our minds. And who knows what's going to happen. I mean, we have people like Enoch, who lived over 300 years, 330, before he really ascended into heaven, according to the people in his surroundings who have taken note of that, which was quite impressive, not to say the least. Like 330 years he lived before he went up. Like, that's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know how real that is, but that's exactly why we need to find out. That's exactly why we need to be able to we're not experimenting on ourselves, we're being guided. And that's super important, that we understand that we need not to experiment, we need to be allowing and surrendering ourselves towards guidance. The only kind of experimentation that we're really doing for is kind of not even real experimentation. It's more so what is the word? There's a specific thing here. It's more so like interaction. We're interacting with the side of ourselves when we experiment, and sometimes we are not sure how we're interacting with them, so that's why we need a gentle and compassionate touch towards these experimentations. For example, there are a lot of people out there who are so lost within their minds that they start doing things that harm others, even if it's unintentional within themselves, or whether they think it's intentional or not, they're still purposefully harming them, which is why the idea of purpose is a truly abstract concept within the human civilization, which is why when we talk about finding your purpose, it's less about finding your purpose, but letting go of letting go, again, the card of letting go of the idea of control, because the idea of control does not exist. Control, after all, is a word and not an idea. So this is very important for us to realize for ourselves. Control is just a word. There are plenty of words out there, right, that are ideas, that are different conceptions of ideas, but control really is just a word. So then we have so evaluating yourself and evaluating your impulses, evaluating how certain impulses and actions may seem like they're devaluing your inner nature, but it really isn't about perception here. It's more so the idea of inner wisdom. So it takes a lot of inner wisdom. You need to realize what you have within yourself that is innate, your innate nature. So we moved here from so this is the 9 of Pentacles, and now we have the 7 of Pentacles with the moon, because the truth is that there is so what we may see in ourselves as the Nine of Pentacles, what we may see in ourselves as what makes us beautiful, or what makes us value ourselves, may not in fact be that way, but it may be whatever we're hiding here as we're working on our desires and our intentions and our wishes. There is more to see within our subconscious mind that we're not only, we are tapping into innately, but we need to be aware of in order for us to be able to truly have this sense of value and sense of fulfillment within ourselves. And it really takes being, yeah, Queen of Wands, it really takes being someone who is progressive and open and able to see not just one side of the equation, but all sides of the equations, everything. You need to be able to see everything. And this doesn't mean that you need to make these impulsive actions all the time, because after all, there's a difference between taking a stand on what you know and what you feel, and taking action based off of what idea or what it seems like. So I'm going to bring this up. I've brought this up a lot. So the concept of Adam and Eve, right? When Adam and Eve were there, or whatever was written in the literature, I truly don't know what really went down there, because I feel like we all don't know what the fuck really went down there. But in the way that it's written, there are many, many reasons to why that person probably took the bite of that apple. But the one thing that was put the most there was the sense that it was so sweet, right? Even in BTS's song Boy Meets Evil, he talks about how it's so sweet and you can't stop and whatnot, and it just looks so sweet. But the problem isn't within the fact that it looks sweet, or the fact that he bit it, or any of it actually. It just is the way those impulses were taking upon. What kind of action, what made you take that action? Because if it was, let's say, on good intentions, mayhaps, then it wouldn't have caused this kind of imbalance in the first place. But there needs to be set good intentions, and you know that those intentions are good when you're happy and the world around you is also happy. And it may not seem that way at first, but the truth is that God is always watching, God is always seeing, God is always making sure that this is the way that you're going, that your purpose is being fulfilled, that your will is being fulfilled. And no matter how much you fail, you will just get back to the square one always. And like even if you die, you will always come back to square one. Like it really is dependent on your intentions and what you want in your life, because your divine will does come from the source, and we all come from the source, and we all go back to the source. And so when our intentions align with our purpose, with our will, with our God, with our universe, with everything, then we can also be at peace, and the universe around us can also be at peace. So yeah, let's see, anything else? Death, yeah. So yeah, death. I love the death card. I've already said this before, but I'm a Scorpio rising, so I love I think very deeply within a lot of things. I'm just naturally, I can't help it. But this more so talks about how, yeah, I even said even if you die, because it's not really you that's dying. It's the ego. It's always going to be the ego. Your ego is the illusion of you that you create in order to keep yourself safeguarded, or keep you within the space of stability, or at least whatever stability you think is. However, this stability doesn't always have to be negative, right? As your ego dies, which is just something that happens naturally, you need to be able to face judgment, because that's the next step. Always, your ego dies, you face judgment. And if it's truly and if your ego has a lot of negative value, and you have been there for too long, and you've gotten stuck for too long, then the foundations upon what you've built is of negative value, and it will fall. And that will take you time to rebuild. It will take you time to catch up with yourself. It will take you time to be able to perceive your reality in a way that makes you comfortable, because at the end of the day, our happiness and our comfort is at utmost importance for us to be able to create a foundation for our future generations to exist as well. Yeah, and that's really the clarity that we're moving upon right now. We're moving towards a a clearer view, a clearer visualizing opportunity or scene. Yeah, a source of inspiration for us. We're getting an Ace of Swords and Ace of Wands, a bigger sense of self, a higher sense of self, a higher vibrational sense of self, a higher part of us that exists within the universe. We have to remember that we've already been everywhere. We've already seen everything. We've already done everything. So what is something now that we want to do? How is what you want to do now different than what you maybe want to do in the future, or maybe wanted to do in the past? How does that reflect upon you? Does it come from trauma? Things like this are very important, which is why I always recommend, if you're seeing a therapist, to be able to evaluate yourself properly. The the karmic wheel that surrounds us is there for us. We have to remember that everything that exists is here to help us, to help push us forward, to help us evolve and create for ourselves. Not even just create, because at the end of the day, we're not even the ones that are even creating these things. This is just how the universe works. This is just how the universe evolves. And once we realize this aspect upon ourselves, we can truly live within the best of ourselves. And you really need to release these doubts and these past beliefs that you may have kept yourself entrapped within. And I'm not really going to give any examples, because it really is according to whatever individual is watching this, or whoever is watching this right now. So whatever is really holding you back is whatever's holding you back is the reason why you're unable to see clearly. And maybe you do see clearly, but there's still something holding you back. Then you really need to take time and effort to be able to reflect on yourself, your surroundings, the people around you, your mind, your body, your soul, what you perceive of yourself in general, the mirror that is in front of you. You need to use it. You need to be able to see that mirror and realize what it is within yourself that you're not really seeing, or what others see in you that you're not really seeing at the end of the day. And trying, or not even trying, but even seeing yourself within others as well, because that's what empaths do. We are all reflective of each other here. We are all, like I said, we're all the same, but just very different in very different ways, which is kind of God's gift. Diversity is a very beautiful God's gift. And like, people may think that irrationality may be a negative value, but irrationality is what creates, it's not even what creates, is what has been put there in order to give change, so that we can be able to follow patterns. So out of like so many even numbers, there's how many are irrational, right? You have all these irrational numbers, but the truth is that the whole numbers are truly whole. You know what I mean? So we're trying to find an aspect within ourselves that is whole, that is our pattern, so that we can move forward and be able to realize within ourselves what it is that we need to do, so that we can be able to identify our past hurts, past resentments, letting go of the things that have been holding us back, letting go of whatever hardships, whatever pains, whatever ideals, whatever perfectionistic things that you think about. Like, that needs to go. You need to be able to see a new perspective. And there is fear, but that fear, a lot of it has to do with doubt. And doubt is there for you to be able to question. Because when you question, then you're able to move. Because when you question, why am I standing here? You move. You move forward. Because it only takes one question. One of the most important symbols of humanity is the question mark, and you can look that up. I promise you, it's one of the ancients and very old symbols of civilization is the question mark. And that really helps you build a proper emotional and financial, or just any type of foundation that you really want to build for yourself. Really has to come from the questions you ask, how you ask them, who you ask them, to, like, what are you really trying to accomplish? How does it align with your purpose? Where does it taking you? If you're not able to see what you've done in the past, then it really takes you understanding where you are. Like my old video, like I literally posted like my live stream. I was like, it's all fun and games until you end up in hell for a reason. And this isn't for the people watching this video now, because you're here to let go. You're here to learn how to let go. You're here to learn a new way of life. You're here to learn how to be able to move forward. Chariot, you're learning how to move forward. You're learning how to be able to bring a new sense of purpose, a new sense of life, be able to find your faith, find hope. Because when Pandora's box is open, the only thing left at the bottom of it that stays is hope. Hope always stays. There is always hope. And at the end of the day, that hope brings light to your faith. And you need to be able to bring light into what even brings you hope. What is the Pandora's box that you keep trying to open? Like, try and, like, don't open it. Just look at it, observe it, understand what it is, and give yourself permission to not always know all the answers. Try and give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to be curious, but to be aware, right? Like, for example, when that person bit the apple, they weren't aware. They were just curious and impulsive because of what made them do that thing in the first place. So when you have set intentions, you're also bringing awareness to what it is within you that is making you get those impulsive actions done in the first place, because they are impulses. So it's not, like I said, we can't control anything. So when you have impulses that make you just do things, you kind of need to be aware why you're doing it, or else you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, impulses. So what is a good way that we can be able to expand our knowledge on these impulses? What is the truth about these impulses that we need to know now? How can we let go of our ideas of masculine, communication, lovers? Okay, take that however that resonates. But I'm here to ask a different question. So clearly someone here is asking someone else a question, but let's see here. Yeah, it's about, yes, it's a knight, another knight. Because before there was like the emperor, but I was like, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, what would you call it? We have a knight here, another one. So it's about immature emotional offers. So when you're not mature enough to make an emotional offer, when you're not mature enough emotionally, you end up not only being unbalanced, but you're also not presenting anything. Like, that's the truth. So you have the Knight of Cups here, who is sort of is also impulsive. He's a knight, he's very strong, but he works under, other authorities. But the thing about it is that this cup that he's holding is not even full. It's an empty cup. It doesn't have an emotional offer. It doesn't have any emotions to give. And it is all, our emotions are all connected. We can't just remove one emotion or the other. Anger, love, fear, all of it is all connected, right? But fear in itself, as when you let go of fear, you're almost letting go and giving it up, because it's not serving you. There are emotions that don't serve you, and there are certain emotions that are for your highest good. So there are things like love that are of higher vibration and fear of lower vibration. So what we're doing is we're changing these things so that we can be able to really give balance what is of high vibration stays in the high vibration, what is of low vibration stays in the low vibration, and we stay in this perfect harmony in the middle. And as we're able to understand the impulses that we have according to the emotional offers that we are presenting not only to others but to ourselves, for example, do we give love to ourselves? How are we giving love to ourselves? Do we even have this love to give to ourselves? Like, what do we even recognize as this emotional offer? What do we recognize and see the moon over here? So there's even more secrets. Before there were secrets, and now there are more secrets. So what is it that we're hiding within ourselves, within our subconscious mind, within our inner spaces, within our inner child, that we're not developing? Why are we not growing? You know, the question. Why are we not moving forward? Yeah. And this is really, and then the Six of Cups, it's really causing an imbalance and a lack of harmony and partnership within ourselves to be able to even, you know, appropriately see, let me see how I can explain this better. Appropriately see what we have to offer within ourselves. Yes, so the battles that we're fighting, really, I feel like the partnership that we're having is like the battles that okay, so whatever battle it is that we don't want to fight, we often do have to fight certain battles. We often do have to stand our ground in certain things. We can't just leave all things to the divine. We can't just leave it all up in the air. We do have to sometimes turn it over, because sometimes things are correlated together. Maybe there's something that we're not seeing properly, and we're trying to avoid this moment. We're trying to avoid these battles because we want to avoid maybe this partnership. I don't know, we're trying to avoid this kind of understanding within ourselves. But that's only going to cause all the cops we need to be able to understand that all the cups are now empty because they're upside down, which is why it's causing a lack of an emotional offer, you know. So we need to be able to release that fear. And also, if I said cups and you were scared, you definitely need to work on yourself. So let's see. What is something about the emotions? Yeah, we need to see through what it is that we want for ourselves and stand our ground. We're not I feel like someone here is not standing their ground. You need to stand your ground. We need to stand our ground, and that is the premise of letting go. That is the premise of letting go, because when we let go of some things, it still means standing our ground for other things. Maybe some things we're letting go and other things we're standing our ground on, which is why we need to be able to create we need to be able to use the power of discernment that we have, that is God-given. And you really need faith in yourself, faith in God, faith in the universe, that everything will be all right. Everything will be good. We are in the golden age. We are where we are at now because we are supposed to be here, because we are meant to learn a lesson, because we are meant to move forward, because we are meant to, there's so many reasons why. And the people that are in hell, they're there to learn a lesson too. You know, demons are here to learn a lesson too. Like, we're all growing, we're all shifting, we're all moving. And this really does have to do with the fact that we're all the same and we all resonate within that frequency. Yes, and this has to do with the balance of heart and mind. It has to do with the balance of everything. And maybe if this is about a twin flame connection, if this is about twin flame connections, then it really is communication. A lot of it has to do with communication. Gemini is all about communication. If you're not communicating either with yourself, with your partner, if it's a divine partner, even if it's not a twin flame connection, if it's masculine or feminine, it's still about independence and communication. Like, that's why there is communication. Without this combination just yet, there needs to be communication first. So let us see anything else. Ooh. Yeah, so there needs to be emotional maturity, and sometimes that emotional, I'm getting feminine energy. Sometimes this emotional maturity has to do with compassion and what really compassion means. So there's a big misconception between compassion and sympathy. Sympathy is not compassion, but sympathizing is a very low vibrational energy. When you sympathize, you usually give sympathy. You I mean, I guess. I mean, it's more so like sympathy exists in general. Okay, sympathy exists in general. We have empathy within us as human beings, but sympathy exists in general within the universe. It doesn't have to be a vibration that we collect for ourselves. As high vibrational beings, as human beings, we use compassion instead of sympathy. Because when we have compassion, we also have compassion to ourselves. Sympathy is kind of like, oh, poor you kind of energy, while compassion, which is what I usually do whenever I'm in my low vibrational energy, or whenever I'm in my low vibe, let's say because I'm in life path 11, I am a 2 and 11. So when I'm in my second vibration, which is still dual, still balanced, when I'm in my second vibration, I'm often sympathetic. I'm like, oh yeah, you're in hell. Sorry. But that's not really, that doesn't sound compassionate, does it? It's kind of sarcastic. I can be able to turn that any other way, but that's sympathy. That's sympathy. Sympathy doesn't have to have compassion, but compassion is the key to understanding the true empathetic nature of humankind. So as we're compassionate, we are also creating a substance within ourselves and value within ourselves to be able to understand and know exactly what it is that we need to give and take. So maybe if we're seeing someone homeless and we don't have the money to be able to give, and we're like, well, we're now sympathizing with this person, you're also sympathizing with yourself. You're now putting yourself within a low vibrational frequency, because now you know that you can't afford to be able to help this person. And now this person feels like, well, this guy's an asshole, because now they're in a low vibrational frequency. They have no idea who you are. They could be thinking any other thing. They're a separate fucking person. They could care less for all that matters. But you, on the other hand, if you, let's say, have compassion for this person, someone that has compassion for a homeless person, let's say, goes to a homeless person and they're like, hey, can I have some change? You're like, oh, I don't have any change right now, but you can help provide them with maybe some kind of energy exchange, maybe a conversation, maybe a talk, maybe just a smile, something to help them. And that's why empathy is so important, because when we empathize, we are able to really connect the energetic patterns. And instead of intaking all their energy, because that's not empathy. When you intake all that energy, that's not empathy. You're just absorbing. You're actually going to be like a constant of like just like a absorbing, that's what I meant. You're just constantly absorbing other people's energies. What you need to understand too is that as you take a little bit and they've now spoken to you, you've felt that energy. As you increase your frequency, you're also increasing your immunity for that frequency, and you're also giving back a higher frequency for them. And that might kind of shock them at first. That might actually make them react in a way maybe that you're not prepared for. But that's exactly why we have compassion and empathy, is to be able to understand both sides of the situation, which is why we need to be able to let go. Because as you let go of the things that don't serve you. And that's really like the truth about things that we lose, or maybe things that get taken from us, or we think get taken from us. It's because they were never ours to begin with. A lot of things are never ours to begin with. That's the truth. Whenever you claim yourself, you really have to understand that it's not really you claiming yourself. It's really you claiming the universe. And if you're claiming the universe, it's kind of like, well, you also need to be able to channel. You need to be able to channel, because that's the God-given power that we have. We need to be able to understand how channeling works, which is, yeah, which is how we have stability in this universe. Yeah. So let's get a different card deck. We're going to get a message from the angels. dokie. Let's see. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks, yeah. Been at it since 1986, yeah. I don't know why I'm channeling that right now, but that's really funny. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. But let's see. Oh my god. Ah! The card was just moving everywhere. It says busy times and multitasking. Take charge of your schedule during this busy time and honestly assess your underlying reasons for being busy. Yes. So everybody has the same amounts of time. There are the same 24 hours that go every day. And in fact, if you don't want to use the 24-hour period, there are plenty of other calendars that you can use. Someone like me, I prefer to use the 36-hour calendar, Aztec, Toltec calendars, because they help me expand my time a little bit more, which may throw other people off, but other people are not in my business. I'm my business. And so that's exactly why you need to be able to understand what is keeping you busy, what is keeping you within your cycle. And so being busy is like, look at this beautiful card. Being busy is a very, oh my god, salsite. That's the that's the stone that I'm getting. Multitasking. True multitaskers don't look like they're multitasking. That's a fact. Anybody who's looking like they're causing a ruckus or just being very frantic and is like, I'm just multitasking, they're not multitasking, okay? You're not multitasking. Multitasking looks effortless, okay? It's one of those things that looks so effortless, you're like, what are you doing? And then someone's like, I can't really explain it right now because it's a lot. That's why it looks effortless, is because it takes effort and it's a challenge, but it's a good way to grow. Seriously assessing why you're busy is very important because that takes a lot of inner wisdom, inner knowledge. Same thing. Study your time, study your patterns, study who you are, study what you're capable of, you know? Multifaceted. Ooh, I love this. I love this so much because it's one of my favorite cards. I get this once in a while. So it says, there are many layers and dimensions to the situation or person you're asking for. Are you asking about someone or something? But yeah, multifaceted. That's the answer. If you were asking a question, that's the answer. I don't know. This card just is the only one that was coming out because I have all these other cards that were coming out for me before. So yeah, lapis lazuli. So you're getting life-changing epiphany or experience. It's time of a big and blessed change for you, and God is supporting you every step of the way. Very important to remember that you are protected. Get to know your angels, get to know your guides, get to know your ancestors, research, show true courage in learning. The audacity that you have, you have a lot of audacity. That's true. Even while you're here, you have a lot of audacity. You just need to know where you're putting that audacity, because the truth is that audacity is a very, like, I like the word audacity because it's like the audacity, but also it's like, wow, the audacity, like it's impressive. It's kind of like pride. Right? So when you have pride, which is from lions, I don't want this to be misconstrued. Pride is natural, but it builds ego, which is more so like, yeah, it's gonna die, like regardless. But pride isn't. This is just, please do your research on what is the truth about the 7 deadly sins, because there is 7 of them. Brain. Numerology is very important too. Ruby, bless your heart. Reach out for emotional and spiritual support to heal and amend your heart. If you are going through tough times, remember that you are never alone. Maybe the people that you think you trusted before, and maybe you feel betrayed or something. Remember that the only reason you feel any type of way is because of you personally, which is kind of inspiring, isn't it? Like, you can make yourself feel good if you want to. You can make yourself feel bad if you want to. But all of these things have consequences to the ripple effect of the universe. And if you are trying to reach out for help or support, then please do not hesitate. I also do card readings, so if you need spiritual guidance or you need spiritual help in certain things, certain aspects or certain questions you want to ask, you can go ahead and ask them. I will be fully willing to help. That's why I'm here. And yeah, to be able to truly, if you're just looking for a way to help yourself, let's say you're someone like me who was really afraid to be able to ask for help, then you need to break that fear and ask for help regardless. Because if you're scared of asking for help, that is a good way to test who is in your surroundings. That is a good way to test who you are inside. You need to go ahead and ask for help. You need to go ahead and find out who you are. You need to go ahead and face your fears, because that's the only way that you'll be able to really stop those blockages from reforming, and or just putting it aside or something like that, because that putting it to your back of your mind is not going to help you. Natural beauty and authenticity. Be yourself. True. As God made you naturally, attractive and lovable inside and out. That is absolutely correct. For you to be able to shine your natural beauty, you truly need to see yourself as the way you are inside. You can do chants like "I am as I am." That's a very good one to do. Or I am as am I, so that you can be able to show your true reflection and see yourself within your own light, so that you can be able to expand. And don't get too lost with it, and don't let your ego grow too much. Stay humble. Kendrick, be humble. Own your divine power. Replace codependent people pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. If you're afraid of codependency, you probably are codependent. And so codependent energy is very devil energy. It's also like Capricorn. I'm getting, like, on my tarot card decks, Capricorn energy. I'm getting a lot of like binding, attachment, kind of like a oh, I can't stop it. Like, for example, me, I smoke a lot, but a good way for me to practice stepping away from smoking all the time is taking fasting, taking breaks, doing meditation rituals, to be able to really test just how much am I codependent on the things around me. So the amount of times that I've ended up homeless, I just know that I am not codependent at all. Like, I will drop anything and not give a fuck about it, which is something that people need to practice on. We're not all the same, we all have different gifts and abilities. For me personally, I'm just not really attached to a lot of things. I like being on my own. I knew this was going to be a lonely journey when I came here. It just depended on who I was going to be on this journey with. So yeah, let's see. Ooh, I'm a rebel just for kicks. Yeah, why is that song still coming up? I did say devil energy, didn't I? That's the thing. So just for kicks, huh? It's not even masochistic energy. I'm feeling lots of masochistic energy. When you have a dynamic of masochism, you're also calling upon yourself sadistic energy, which is narcissism. And trust me, narcissists are not for your highest good. So they also need to grow and learn their own lessons. So please try your best. If you are a masochist, please try your best to be able to explore the side of you that you don't want to explore. Not, like I said, awareness is very important. You need to be able to, like, don't just jump off a cliff because you're scared of jumping off a cliff. Bring yourself an awareness onto why you're afraid of jumping off the cliff. You're afraid of jumping off a cliff because you see death. Okay, you see death right there, and that means that you're afraid of death. But also it means that you may just not want to die. And in that way, you can bring that to your awareness, take a step back. Remember, you don't have to do that. If you're trying to face your fears and trying to kill your ego, it is important to bring it to your awareness by doing research, by doing accurate research, by taking your time and studying, by putting effort into yourself, by reevaluating your aspects, reevaluating who you are. I already said this. Revealing your true self. There you go. As you allow others to know the real you, you'll feel loved for who you truly are. And that's amethyst. Amethyst. Smoky quartz. Clearing negativity. Release negativity from within or around you. Very important to be able to understand what negative aspects you have of yourself. For example, for me, I'm just going to bring this out there. I tend to be quite annoying. I tend to be very annoying, okay? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not sorry really, because it is who I am. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't change it. See how we are not in control, and sometimes there are things that we need to clear away. So instead of me constantly trying to avoid being annoying, I see it more as a strength. I see it as a possibility for change. I see it as one of those irrational numbers I have in my equation. If I start getting annoying, I'm like, it's time to switch up, you know, or I start feeling like I'm annoying. It's time to switch up. And let yourself sparkle and shine. I've gotten this before again. So you are guided to, out of all the cards in this deck, I usually get the same ones over and over again. It's kind of funny. So you are guided to be bold and show the bigger than life side of you to the world. And balancing masculine and feminine energies, allow your feminine side to creatively inspire you and the masculine side of you to give you confidence. Very important here. I don't even have to say anything. I'm just like, very important. I'm such a fucking meme, bro. And then we can do our soul's journey. Oh, first card, discipline. So discipline, I can accomplish anything I set my mind into. Yes, you set the intentions for your mind. God sets the intentions for you, and God is always watching. So, oop, that's good. Someone's not surrendering. Remember, surrender. I can release my need to control. You don't have to know everything. You don't need to know everything. You don't have to take a bite of that apple, okay? You can still find out what that apple is trying to tell you without biting the apple, okay? You can just take your time, surrender to the forces that are and that is, so that you can be able to take yourself into this present and let go. Surrendering is truly letting go. When you breathe in, you're not just holding it there forever. It's not just, you're just holding it in there forever. You need to let go. You need to exhale. That is the surrender we're talking about. When you came here on an inhale. It's like a strong pull. Inhale as you're pulling in, and then one day you'll be just and right back. But this time through light. So in a different direction. Some of us will go right back and start the reincarnation all over again, you know. Some of us, we just continue going forward and enter a different light, enter a different sun. And, you know, dimensions change, dimensions shift. We don't know everything. Oh shit, I kind of gave away I gave away some ancient knowledge there, but okay. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Very important to remember that your soul's gifts are only yours from God for others and yourself. It doesn't mean that other people may not have the same things, which is why we need to get rid of things like envy, because those are low vibrational frequencies. We need to be able to see what kind of gifts that we have towards ourselves so that we can increase our self-esteem, so that we can understand that, you know, we're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose. We're here to do what we need to do, and we know that it's going to work, and we know that it's going to help. We know that because we feel it in here. We know because we feel. We don't know because we think, okay? If you feel nothing and you feel numb all the time, which is why I abstain from certain types of medicines, and we don't feel and we're staying numb, then we don't know. And that's what we really need to understand. Doubt. You're like, doubt? Press X to doubt. Surrender! Dude, surrender. Whoever this is here, surrender, please. Not to me or anyone else, to yourself. Surrender to your divine. Surrender to not your image of God, but to what is, to the time, to here, right now. Okay? All what you can do here right now is the only thing you can do here right now is the only thing you feel you can do here right now. And if you feel what you think, then then it's wrong. Okay? Because your feelings are not based on your thoughts. Your feelings are based on reality. Like, reality runs on feelings. Reality runs on vibrations. Reality runs on emotion. That's how I'm a constant emotional body. So I feel all the emotions, and I feel all that there is, all negative and positive all the time. I have to be able to have discernment so that I can follow the middle path and go up. You have good, bad, and we, us, everyone, up. And then we move towards the divine. Did you see that? Brown eyes. So surrendering really takes letting go of this need to control, okay? The need to control. Oh, I have to know this, or I have to do this, or else this isn't gonna work, or I have to know this thing, or I have to do this thing, or it's not gonna work, or because you're saying it's not gonna work. You're already thinking it's not gonna work. So whatever it is doesn't even matter anyways, because it's not gonna work. At the end of the day, it's just not gonna work. But if you and just because you think it's gonna work, or because at the same time you think that you need to do something because you think that it's not gonna work, then at the other dual side of it, you're thinking, well, I think this other thing is gonna work, but your mind doesn't know anything. Okay, your mind doesn't know anything. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. I feel, and that's why I know. I feel, and it's not just based off of feelings. There's a sort of discernment here. Doubt is, I release the need to know all the answers. Once again, doubt is something that is like I said, it's there for us to question. Yes, not all feelings are our feelings. That's something that we need to understand as well. Not all feelings are our feelings. But there are some feelings that are ours, that we do feel, that do come from us specifically, that do vibrate, because we all vibrate at a frequency, so we all give out our own feelings, and we just need to find what that is. And if we keep doubting everything, if we keep doubting other people or doubting whatever feelings that we're feeling, then we will never be able to find what it is that is causing it. So that's why we need to surrender whatever it is to the divine, to like the higher power, so that we can be able to receive clarity. As we receive clarity, we are also going through tests to be able to understand what it is that is making us worry, and what is within our imagination and what is not within our imagination. Imagination, first of all, people want to be like, oh, you're just imagining it. First of all, everything, you're just imagining everything. Nothing is real. Okay, nothing is real and everything is real at the same time. It's a paradox. We live inside a dual world, and everything that we see is within our mind. If our minds didn't exist, so the world wouldn't exist around us, because we wouldn't be able to imagine it. Just because something may be standing in front of you doesn't mean that you know that it's there. That's the truth. Because that's why we have our imagination, is so that we're able and capable of like seeing it, creating an image of what we're seeing in front of us. Just because everything here is technically an illusion. This is all in the paradigm of mathematics. That's why we need to let go of this need to control, because if you truly knew everything like Adam and Eve, you would go absolutely fuck shit insane. You would go absolutely crazy. You're gonna harbor feelings of certain feelings of low vibrations, because now that you're aware of high vibrational frequencies, it doesn't mean that you're capable of sustaining those high vibrational frequencies. You might think that there are certain vibrations that are of high vibrations, but they're not. Sometimes there are illusions that make it seem that, well, this thing is high vibration and this thing is low vibration, but it's the complete opposite sometimes, and that is all due to our mind. And so I embrace and nourish the creative aspects of our mind. The creativity we have within our mind, everything is symbolism too. Everything that we see and perceive and experience is symbolism for our minds. Whatever symbolistic way that we represent our minds and the nature of our reality is how we're progressing in this reality. So if however symbol that you present yourself as is how you move within this life, okay? Worry. So it's saying, I am learning that worry does not change an outcome. And a lot of purple here, so we're receiving a lot of divine support right now. And it's saying that, yes, our minds are powerful, but that's exactly why we're not in control. That's why we don't have control. Because if we were really and truly capable of bringing everything that we knew and thought of into reality all the time, it would be constant chaos. And this world, a lot of the groundwork of this world was born from chaos. The light the light that was put upon chaos was where the groundwork of it was built. Just do your research and you'll find out. And even in ancient texts, it says there, in very ancient prehistoric texts, it says there that like the world was born from chaos. And then if you have even more prehistoric texts, you have so much that talks about it. But that's why we want to focus on the now. That's why we want to bring ourselves into the now. Because if you keep going back, you're just going to reach chaos. You're just going to go through, you're going to find chaos, and it's going to be really chaotic. And, yeah, patience. Patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. Just look at how flowers grow. Just look at how humans grow. We have a genetic code. We have universal code. And that code has been instilled within us, right? We as human nature, as humankind, first of all, you need to ask for permission before you start doing any kind of genetic research on anybody, okay? So this whole Bill Gates COVID nonsense that is happening right now, where they're trying to manufacture and genetically engineer everyone, I just don't agree with. I'm just going to tell you right away that I do not feel like anyone agrees with being genetically modified without permission. We all genetically modify ourselves as we evolve and as we grow, but that is our God-given power and our incentive within this universe. Nobody should be forcing anybody else to be genetically modified, which is exactly why I'm doing these things. I'm teaching in order for people to learn better ways to evolve and without insanity, okay? Without actual insanity. There is fury, there is mania, there is spirit, there is hope, there is glory, and then there is insanity, okay? So there are people who go, and people, it's not an image of insanity that you might think. Like I've seen insane before, and it's not pretty, and it doesn't get prettier. It just does not get any prettier. It can be fascinating, but not the type of fascinating that you want to see, let's just say, which is exactly why you need to do your own research. Grief. Now we're at grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. Whenever we lose something, like I said, if it was really divinely, oh my god, my neck. If it was divinely meant for us, then it wasn't truly lost. It is just an opportunity for us to appreciate it. The more we appreciate and give gratitude for the things that we feel we have lost, because that's why we have grief and that's why we have lost, the more we do, the higher the vibration of not just ourselves, but that element is. So whatever you give value to, you really need to appreciate it. You can't just talk about appreciation. You can't just talk about gratitude. You really have to feel it. You really have to, it has to be within you. And if you're someone who doesn't even have the emotional capability of understanding what love is, or not even just understanding it, but emotionally experiencing love for yourself as yourself, then you need to be able to expand your awareness on what it is that you define as love, what it is that you define. And this whole idea of masochism as well comes from trauma. This comes from a deep, deep, deep sense of trauma that needs to be healed, which is why I deeply recommend healing. You want to do Reiki healing, therapists, psychiatrists. The world is so fucking open. The world is so fucking open for you to do whatever the fuck you want. It is the golden age. We have everything we need at this current moment to do everything. We are prepared for the next new change. We are prepared for something that's going to happen next. Although we may not feel like it, That's why we have the fear. We need to realize, I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. We need to be able to vibrate at that frequency. In fact, we can vibrate within the frequency of all things and everything, which is why we have the love frequency there for us, because it's there to provide support. Love is eternal, unbreakable, unforgettable. It's something that is never going to change. God is never going to change like that. We are truly never going to change, but at the same time, we are constantly changing. At the same time, eternity is an eternal change. It always changes, but it's still eternal. That's the whole paradigm of mathematics. That's the whole paradigm of this reality. That is how it is. It be like that. And as we're moving forward, we need to be able to see that for ourselves and realize that as we set good intentions, as we set positive intentions forward, we innately know what is going to happen, what we feel is going to happen, regardless of what we might fear or worry. Worry does not change the outcome. That's anxiety. You're feeling anxiety. So then we have, there we go. So we have two things now. We have denial, but it's upside down, so that's good. And technically, I think. So denial. I acknowledge my fear again, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. Oh my God, my heart. Ah. Jesus. What the fuck? We replace it with the insight of awareness. And then purpose. I know what I am here to do. You need to remind yourself, or keep it within your mind. I know what I'm here to do. If you're here to educate yourself and learn, remind yourself of that. In fact, that's my favorite thing to remind myself of, is like, I'm learning, okay? I'm just still learning. I'm still moving forward. I'm still trying my best. I'm still doing as much as I can. I am still just a being of light. I am still just here like everybody else, like a human being. I am just a human being, okay? I am here to be exactly who I am. I am as I am, okay? Yeah, I know what I'm here to do. Constant reminder. Putting it within, trust. Yay! Now we're at trust. Bet. Now we can move on. So trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Your inner voice is the inner voice of light, okay? Your inner voice is the voice of innocence, of purity. It comes from a place of higher wisdom. It comes from a place of higher knowing. And this place is what flows through you. And if you're an impulsive person, in general, then you're probably acting on impulses of your inner wisdom without even realizing it. But it's kind of being distorted sometimes. Sometimes these things get distorted by illusions. And that's exactly why we need to be able to present ourselves with these higher wisdoms and knowledge, and be able to listen accurately to ourselves, listen to our guides, listen to what's being told to us, so that we can properly acknowledge our inner voices and follow upon our divine path accurately and confidently. Confidently knowing that you are within, you're good, you're a good person within somewhere, and that's somewhere you need to find it. And sometimes it takes actually taking accountability and taking effort and putting in devotion and showing that it's important to you, and showing it the way that feels best to you. Sometimes people may try to put us down because of the things we know. Oh my God, that's so fucking funny that I haven't even taken out the whole thing yet, but the bottom of the deck already is showing attachment, fear, restriction. Again, look at how she's sitting there. She's all tangled up within this, kind of just like hanging there, kind of not moving, stagnant, kind of scared. Look at her eyes. She's so scared. She doesn't know what to do or where to go, but you need to feel it. Feel it. Let that go. Feel that fear and be like, why? Question mark. Why? You know, why is that happening? Ask a question. Why is this happening? Why is this the way that it is? And cry if you have to. Cry if you have to. And if you really need to punch something, get a punching bag. Not a human being, a punching bag. Punch a pillow. Scream at the top of your lungs. Do something. Exude your energy. Do it in a way that makes sense to you. Do it in a way that is important to you. Do it in a way that gives you positive change, that makes you feel not just better now, but better in the long run. Something that makes sense, that is important. Okay, Nine of Hearts. So fulfillment, harmony, and protection. Remember, you are protected. You always will be protected. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. But this isn't protection within the ego. If you're feeling unsafe, then you're feeling unsafe for a reason. That is the fear. That is the fear. You need to be able to understand where that fear is coming from. Why? Why are you afraid? And don't put that on anyone else. Why are you afraid inside? What kind of things did you go through in the past that makes you think that now you should be afraid? And if it's really fear from the outside world, then why is that giving you fear? Why is it causing you fear? What do you need to reduce for you to be able to release that fear? For you to be able to let go of it? It's not yours. All these things are not yours anyways. Like, everything that we have is not ours anyways. We're just a vessel. I'm just a vessel. I'm just a channel. I'm just a messenger. I am as I am, right? It'd be like that. Oh, there we go. Winter's End, which is great because Persephone talks about this all the time. Anytime winter ends in Persephone land, it is the time for positive change, positive outcomes, regeneration, rebirth. Rebirth is amazing. When you rebirth, it's a reminder. It's a reminder of where you're from. It's where your home is. I used to feel homesick for so long. I used to feel so homesick. But the only place that is home is in the stars. That's where I belong. I belong back to where my kids are so I can help them. I belong back to the source so I can grow and evolve too, you know? And it really is a reminder that there is a bigger thing out here. There is a bigger reason to be here. There is a bigger purpose. This world is much, much, much bigger than you think. And I'm not just talking about size. I'm talking about like everything that you could ever imagine this world that could be is even more. To the point of what you can't imagine. So much so that it's unknown. It's a mystery specifically because, well, there's just no end to it. And that's why it's okay to not know. It's okay to not know anything at all. You don't see a child crying because it has no idea. A child is curious because it has no idea. And that's exactly why we're here. A lot of people are just kids in this universe that have no fucking idea what they're doing. And some of these really dumbass motherfucking kids end up in hell because they have no idea that they're doing bad shit and they don't want to learn or do their homework. Which is why you need to study. Which is why you need to, like, take care of yourself. These people need to be educated. These people need to be taught, and they don't need to be taught in a tyrannical manner either. They need to be taught within their own experience. They need to be able to reach their own conclusions by themselves. Some of these people have been doing this cycle for so fucking long that they've lost themselves entirely. Some of these people have been in this reincarnation for so motherfucking long. Woo! It's been a long, long, long ride, and a lot of people will stay. That's not like a fear thing. No, there are people who will stay. Not everybody is for you. Not everybody is for me. There are people who will stay. It's not to cause fear or anything. It's just to motivate you, if anything. So, serendipity. I don't know who's thinking about me, but thanks. Let's see. You are being thought of more than you think, at least. Yeah, mystery, magic, and excitement. So that really is the beauty of this world. It's all the mystery, all the excitement, all this thing brewing, waiting to be put into light. Like, so many new colors. And that's really what it is about the darkness that we need to not touch sometimes, because this is like fruits that haven't ripened yet. And so when we like take a peek, it's all like scary and evil and like, what the fuck. But then we take a step back and then we're like traumatized. We're like, what the fuck was that? And then we start creating all these scenarios in our head. And because our head is so powerful, a lot of it does happen in real life, and we need not that to happen in real life. What we need to do is be able to take a step back, understand where we are, what the facts are, and understand that there are things that we don't understand that maybe we don't necessarily need to understand at this current moment. But I'm kind of the detective of the ages. Let me just like toot my own horn here. But being someone who has a very perceptive mind, I oftentimes like to uncover mysteries. But I love it so much that I've been given like divine timing to do it, so that I can just kind of, that's why a lot of people think I'm a fool or I'm naive or anything like that. And it's just because like I really fall into situations where I have no idea what's happening or what's going on, but it's just so exciting to me because I have so many positive intentions that I even put down, that it's so exciting in general. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I'm just doing just doing what I do. Just going about my motherfucking way, just vibing at my own frequency, and the frequency that's been given to me, like, excited, and I grow. And it's remember to grow. Remember, that's how you let go. And obviously all the time, Gaia, remember her. She's your mother. Gaia is your divine mother of earth, okay? So she's the ground, the wisdom, the knowledge, everything, all the knowledge, all of it has been put into Gaia, because the heavenly bodies and everything like that is so free flowing and so light that we often think that it's them. We often think that it's all these different aspects of ourselves, but this whole world is an illusion, okay? But it's all just information being put together and grounded within each other. It's all information being clustered and being put together and forming for each other until you get the moment of like realization and formation that is our identity, that is a personification of what we have. And not just a personification, because that would mean like human-like, but also like a formation or reformation, however it resonates. However that resonates. Okay. What else are we going to do? What else are we doing? Yep. So we'll take something from the Cosmic Journal of Trees. I love this book. I still haven't like read it because I like doing it like this because it's exciting for me. It's like the dimension of trees. If you didn't know, everything has a dimension. If you don't understand even the symbolism of dimension, everything has a dimension. And even the walls have dimensions. The walls have eyes. The hills have eyes. And don't creep out, don't freak out. But yeah, everything has a this fucking scared the fuck out of me. Sudden movements. Oh, what'd you call it? Everything has okay, this is starting to freak me out now. Okay, I just said don't freak me out. Okay, so let's see. I thought I saw a halo. Okay, the pirate's tale. Ooh, ooh. Let's read it out. Okay. Oh my god. Sorry. Like, this is just, it suddenly resonated with me really hard. Okay. He grew up in an orphanage. He had an uncle, a farmer in the mountains. He had no parents. After his childhood, he lived and worked on his uncle's farm. When he grew up, he wanted to leave the farm in search of adventure. He traveled in a caravan down the port district. Before long, he found work in the deckhand of the Golden Trading Company. I already read this before. Wow, it's so funny that this came up to me again. He prospered working through the trading company until one day, while at port in a foreign country, he took a walk and had too many sailors' drinks at the tavern. He stumbled and fell through the town, drawing the attention of a guard and landing him in cuffs on a warning list. It's so funny that I mentioned cops earlier in this stream. Now I'm getting cuffs. Is someone in jail? Um, Someone's trying to serve their karma in jail. He had to complete many hurdles of paperwork, submit an affidavit to ensure his conduct, and the trading company paid a fine to remove his name from the list. They placed him on probation for his next voyage. They told him any trouble would lead to termination of his employment with the company. The ship passed through the same port again, and he took his long walk again. This time he met a friend, a woman he wound up falling in love with, and entered a tavern with her. He had no drinks but a glass of water with lemon. That's funny, because earlier in my story on Instagram I put lemon. What's happening here? Synchronicities and serendipity here. Crazy. From the moment he met her, he needed no hard drinks in his life. He wanted no rum, no brandy, no wine, as long as she was near. There was no stumbling in the streets and no problem in the tavern. Nonetheless, one of the guards saw him in the tavern drinking water from a glass and recognized him from his previous visit. The guard reported the sailor by name. His behavior caused no problems, but he violated his assurance to the authorities by entering the tavern. He had promised in his paperwork to stay clear of any taverns or public drinking houses. His presence in the tavern broke with his written pledge. Uh-oh. The authorities returned his name to the watch list. The trading company, as promised, terminated his employment and refused him further passage on the ship. Someone snitched? Gotcha. He became an outlaw in the town, not welcome amongst the sailor and the trading companies. This is why I don't listen to rumors. He said a last goodbye to his love, leaving her in the middle of the fisherman's market after a final embrace. And that's what you don't do when you're in love. I'm sorry. Don't be. I have to leave this port now. You can't stay with an outlaw sailor anyway. I will bring you nothing but disgrace, he said. That's why you don't listen to rumors, bro, and you try to understand open realizations. Oh, well, let me not. This is a story after all. Sorry, I always do this. No, she replied. The opposite is true. I shall always remember you, see? But you could have, whatever. Maybe it was just karma after all. He walked the docks looking for a crew to join and saw a mean-looking sea captain reading a map through bifocals. Need a hard worker, Captain? He asked. The sea captain saw him dressed tip-top like a sailor and invited him aboard. What's your name, sailor? He asked the captain. Clark, Sir Jonathan Clark. I was about to say Kent Clark. Oh my god. He responded, Jonathan Clark, sir. My name is Captain Fury. I just said Fury. Oh my god. See, this is crazy. Okay, it's insane. My name is Captain Fury, and my vessel is called the Vengeance. Ooh, this is deep. This is getting real deep. Fury told him, do you know the meaning of vengeance, Mr. Clark? Ooh. Yes, Captain. I believe it is the opposite of mercy. This is why I'm Queen Persephone. I give mercy. I'm a mistress for a reason. I was a mistress for a reason because I gave mercy. I also did that on my, whatever. You'll find out when I do my YouTube videos properly. Clark answers, something tells me your name is on a watch list, said the captain, squinting through his specs, looking Clark up and down. The men on my ship either cannot enter the trading docks or have been otherwise relieved of their gainful employment. I welcome sailors of all stripes, those on warning and watch lists, and those who have violated terms of authorities and conditions. I understand when that happens they cannot return to their ships. Men like that are the bloody ones who work for me. Will you be returning to your place on the trading vessel, Sailor Clark? Hearing no answer from the sailor, the captain gave him a black coat and showed him the cabin. Here you won't have to worry about those guards. Just be a loyal mate and do not ever disobey your captain. Is that understood? Yes, Captain, he responded. We leave the docks in an hour to rendezvous with my team, said the captain. This is longer than usual. You can never return back or leave our ship after that, for we are all outlaws. See, this is how people get scammed. if you had just like followed your heart in the first place, and you had just followed your love in the first place, you would have been with your love. You could have talked to the guard. That guard that fucking told you to leave the tavern and snitched on you should have talked to you in the first place and checked your glass to make sure. You know, he could have been a buddy. He could have followed love as well. This is why you need love, bro. Don't fuck with that. People get scammed like this. So, you can never turn back or leave our ship after that, for we are all outlaws. Clark did not respond, but appeared deep in thought, perhaps regretting his circumstances. Fury wanted to be sure of no problems with the sailor, but you can't always blame yourself for your mistakes. You know what I mean? Whenever you do something, just remember that God is always watching. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, God loves you, and if you show that honor in real life and you accept that love, then you wouldn't be put in situations where you would have to regret anything. You know, regret is very complicated. Fury wanted to be sure of no problems with the sailor. This is your last opportunity to change your mind and leave the ship. Do you understand? The captain asked. Aye, captain, he responded, opening the door of his cabin. Very well, mate. Report to the deck in 1 hour. Aye, captain, he repeated, and walked into his cabin. You know what? This reminds me of people walking into hell. So, like, feeling like disappointed in themselves, and so walking into hell to be able to learn a lesson, working under Lucifer, and then leaving heaven. Leaving heaven into hell, and then going back into heaven afterwards. It's a free world, okay? It's God is here. We need to be able to understand that we as human beings may not be capable of understanding everything, but we also need to be able to realize the potential of ourselves, at least. And demonizing people is not nice. Don't do that. How do you show love if you always hate other people? Makes no fucking sense. Okay, well, we'll stop right there. This book is amazing. And that's so, like, I don't know, it's so fascinating to me, like, how these stories and synchronicities align. So I'm going to put up the book by Ilya Kushinov, one of my favorite artists, Eternal. And he's amazing. He left his home in Russia when he was 15 to become an artist in Japan. And when he was 15, he just dipped Russia, became an artist, living his dream. Fucking awesome. So let's see what it has for us. What kind of art are we gonna have for us today? Ooh, wow, look at this. Oh, my dark spots and everything. Yeah, here. These are so beautiful. Look at that blonde hair. I've been thinking of dyeing my hair blonde. But look at that. That's so pretty. Look at those beautiful colors. This reminds me of, like, oh, look how she's smiling too. Yeah, this reminds me of, like, yeah, and then she's looking over here. It's like a remembrance. What I'm getting is like a feeling of, like, a perception of, like, she's looking within, so it's like an inner perception of beauty and abundance, and it's this beautiful golden pure color. Pure, I'm using golden for purity. I'm not trying to say blonde is pure. Let's not be Nazis, okay? But this golden color, which is of purity, and she's like just like reveling in her own nature. And then you have this blue, which is usually put into like a solemn nature, but solemnness doesn't always have to be negative. When you're in solemnness, sometimes it can be relative to peace. So you have solemn, and then you have peace right there. So solemnness, peace, solemn, peace. So like contentment, and then like gratitude, contentment, gratitude. So this is like high vibrational sequences of infinity. Okay, so you can go back, but I'm not even there anymore. I'm just more forward. I just keep moving forward. So yeah, that's about all that we have today. Let me see if the geometry wants to tell us anything for sacred geometry for the universe. Sacred space, what? That's so crazy. Look at sacred geometry, a big ass right there as soon as I said it. So sacred space, so I'll say it here, okay. Everywhere in the world and far back in time, humans have created and consecrated places as spiritual significant. In both solitude and community, we do this for worship and ceremony, for celebration, healing, and spiritual initiation. Human-made architecture, temples, churches, mosques provide a space for close human-divine contact, bringing the divine nearer to humankind and our endeavors. The proportions, locations, ratios, forms, and measurements of sacred spaces are based on divine work because such formulas exist in nature. In Stephen Skinner's view, space is sacred when the geometry of its design depends on the ratio that are either whole numbers or special, such as the golden mean. Sacred space looks and feels harmonious, but also has an objective quality which can be measured. So in case you want an example, actually, no, 136, and we'll keep it that way. And so we also have self-organization standing out to me. Scientists and naturalists are discovering more and more about geometric patterns by which insects, plants, and other life forms, along with bubbles, waves, and sand ripples on dunes, organize themselves. The process is called self-organization, or sometimes spontaneous order, referring to the emergence of an overall order in time and space of a given system that results in the collective interaction of its individual components. In the worlds of Ronald Weldschoiner and Timo Betts, I guess, I hope I said that right, the principle of self-organization is essential to the pattern formation in chemistry, physics, and biology. Sacred geometry. So something to understand is that within ourselves, we have sacred geometry. So we already have a natural process of doing things in our lives. All we have to do is self-actualize that process by actually bringing it into our awareness and into our conscious minds, instead of keeping ourselves within our ego identities, which are just alter egos, which are just like whatever you think is there or whatever you perceive as real, which is not like existence. Your perception is going to always be an illusion, which is why formation of opinions really has to come from the basis of unity inside. You already have opinions within you that you hold very dearly to. For example, I don't stand for pedophilia, period. Like that is like period. Like that's one of my that's an opinion, but it's very like that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's where the line, like you can't go past that point for me. You can't even think about that for me. You know what I mean? Like that's just a no-no. And so yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope everything turned out okay. It's almost 2 hours long. Damn. But I know it's very long, but that's why we're really doing this practice of letting go and learning newer things, to be able to create space for our minds and space for our bodies to be able to receive love, to be able to receive divine support and divine protection, and receive the information we need for ourselves to be able to proceed in life. And this can be in any way, shape, or form. Can be in community, and be space, and be relationship, can be within yourself, without yourself, can be anything within your family, anything, music, anything you want. That's how life works. It's all a pattern. It's all connected, all together, always, forever will be, eternally. From the source, back to the source. Bye. Peace. Ooh.